everybody. Well, today I'm kind of taking a break and I need to do some photos, cooking photos for my sister for a memorial service for my parents. So I came up with some new recipes. I mean, I'm not a very, I love to cook, but I'm not very good at sweets. And these are actually, I love chocolate, dark chocolate. I actually do a very, very, very good mousse au chocolat and charlotte. The mousse au chocolat, those are my specialties. Anyway, this, I've actually made some chocolate. I'm still working a little bit on the recipe. It's with the cocoa powder and coconut oil. And then I made a syrup with hibiscus and ginger, and I put some of that to flavor it in. So as I say, the consistency I'm still working on a bit. Now, I saw a recipe for pickles dipped in chocolate, and I thought that was very interesting. So as I say, I saw a video, they said it was great. I'm still a little bit, so just dip it in and then put it on a plate. I blot these out a little bit, it gets the chocolate to stick better. But people in the house seem to like this, and as I say, I'm still in the tasting phase to see what I think. Now, the other thing that I had seen with on the internet a lot was avocado and chocolate mixed together, you know, marriage together. I actually want to try a mousse au chocolat with avocado, using avocado and chocolate, dark chocolate. I think it'll be a very, very interesting experiment. Unfortunately, I don't. You have to have the beaters to beat the egg whites, so I don't have that here. So that'll be for another time. So the thing about avocados, this is one thing I learned in Colombia. So you want to keep your avocado in the pit, as long as you keep the pit there, and then when you open it, you just sprinkle it with lemon juice or lime juice, and that acid will keep the oxidation from taking away your whole avocado. And I mean, you'll have to scrape it off a little bit, but your avocado, as long as you keep the pit in there, it'll keep, and you can, you know, just cut a little piece. So I cut it in cubes. Just put it in the chocolate. Put the bigger cubes in there. Cover them. I have a couple of pieces here. This, I mean, I adore avocado and I adore chocolate, and as I say, I'm still working on the texture of the chocolate covering, because it needs to be also, instead of putting it directly on the plate, get out, I should have done this but I didn't, you know, aluminum foil can work, just so it doesn't, because it's sticking to the plate. So that's another thing. Or, you know, a pastry, the pastry paper, that anything that it just won't stick. Because this, I put it in the refrigerator or the freezer and it sticks to the plate. So then you gotta. But as I say, I love avocado and chocolate, and I think this is a really interesting story. There's a lot of stuff you could do with the avocado and try and do something here. Even like a puree, and then dip it in the chocolate, but I'd have to experiment. So this was something that I actually came up with by myself. The tofu, I had some tofu I needed to use up firm tofu. I don't really like working with the soft because I think tofu needs you need to give it some flavor. So I marinated it. I think it needs to be marinated for longer than I did. It was just an hour or so. But I did a marinade of ginger, fresh ginger, grated, sweet Asian and Japanese wine sauce like Kirin or any of that. Some rice vinegar, and then cinnamon, then powdered ginger, and some chili powder. I have some chili powder. I love this. I always, all my life, I love this. And that actually, like, with this, you can just sprinkle some chili powder on top of that, and then you can do sea salt, I have Himalayan salt. I mean, when I first, read about salt, chocolate with salt, I was like, this must be like gross. I love it. It's one of my favorite things now. We have a tendency to always think of chocolate as a sweet, one of my favorite. I mean, not the stuff that you'll buy in the grocery store here. A jome mole by a Mexican woman. Oh my goodness. I think that's one of the only thing that they do perhaps is good are their tamales. I love the Mexican. Every South American country has their tamales. But my heart belongs to my green corn tamales when I was growing up at the frontier of Arizona. And Julia, who lived with us, was our part of the family. And every time she would go down to, oops, I got my avocado in here. Every time she would go down to Nogales to visit her mother who lived there, her mom would make me green corn tamales, homemade green corn tamales, and she would come back from Nogales with a huge, huge bag of green corn tamales that they put in the refrigerator or the freezer. And she would always tell my mom, "Oh, Quimby, she ate twice this week." And somebody said, "When were you anorexic?" I said, "I'm not anorexic. I'm not a big eater." And this is another thing. This whole saying, you gotta finish what's on your plate. At least my mom, it was 3 bites of everything on the plate, and then you can, but you at least have to try everything that you were ever served. And whatever, although we were in Mexico, and luckily we didn't, it kind of went over our heads because my mom was just like, oh gosh. And they were serving tongue, in the United States, and this is back in the 70s. Nobody would eat tongue. And we ate it. I was like, oh, this is very good. But my mom was very concerned. She said, "Oh no, I hope they didn't hear that because then they're not going to eat this." But it's excellent. I actually, it's when it's well cooked. In Spain, they use it a lot. Even in France, when it's well cooked, you have to tenderize it properly. But it's excellent. It's excellent. Mine with sweetbread, which is brains. That's where I kind of draw the line. I tried it, but it's too mushy and gooey, and I think that's why I don't like the soft tofu and my sweet bread. I'm getting out of the taste, and I mean sweet bread. I don't think it has that much taste anyway. So instead of dipping, I just covered it up. I'm going to put it in the refrigerator. Unfortunately, it's hot out, so it's either in the refrigerator. And when I read the recipe for the coconut oil instead of cocoa butter, it said leave it for the next day it'll be more like emulsive, and it'll harden better because the coconut butter, I think that's from what I was understanding, the cocoa butter is what helps it harden. But they said within in coconut oil is, first I had it on hand, and second it is a very, very good oil to use. So everybody have a nice day. Kind of taking a break from my presentations. I hope everybody enjoys them, or maybe they're just like, shut up lady, shut up. But anyway, have a nice day. Bye-bye.